How would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks Podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, bowel biologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume you're spending a ton of time at home right now making sure your surfaces are safe. But while you're focused on preventing COVID-19, have you considered the price of all this super sanitization? And I'm not talking about the time and effort scrubbing, sudsing, and scouring your house to a virus-free perfection. I'm talking about the hidden costs of using toxic household cleansers.
That's right, Ron. And many name brand cleaning products contain harmful chemicals, such as synthetic fragrance, ammonia, phthalates, triclosan, chlorine, parabens, and sodium hydroxide, just to name a few. Extended exposure to these is linked to eye irritation and respiratory issues, to allergies, and even cancer. Bleach-based cleansers contain chlorine. Some air fresheners are made with formaldehyde or carcinogen, not to mention the combination of caustic chemicals, which can lead to dangerous and deadly fumes.
Hold on to your scrubby brushes, friends, because our guest has a compassion for the planet, a passion for people, and a commitment to creating household cleaning products that will protect you and your loved ones without posing any harm. As president and CEO, Kelly Vlahakis-Hanks leads the strategy and the production of environmentally friendly cleaning products at Ecos, an essential business in the fight against COVID.
Kelly has led Ecos to become the first company in the world to achieve the trifecta of sustainable manufacturing, carbon neutrality, water neutrality, and true platinum zero waste certification. Kudos to you guys. Her sustainable practices have made Ecos a model for green business in the U.S. As a primary manufacturer, Ecos has received many awards for its innovations in safer green chemistry, including the coveted U.S. EPA's Safer Choice Partner of the Year 4 times.
As an African-American woman and the daughter of a Greek immigrant, Kelly has made environmental and social justice a cornerstone of Ecos' mission. She supports a green economy by creating sustainable manufacturing jobs across the U.S. and offering strong employee benefits, including a living minimum wage of $17 per hour, one of the highest in the industry.
A graduate of UCLA and the Chapman University School of Business and Economics, Kelly is also a graduate of the USC School of Business Food Industry Executive Program. She's been featured on numerous national television shows, including CNN, ABC, Fox News, and too many to mention here, so we'll include them all in the show notes. Kelly works to promote higher standards for product manufacturing that promote consumer health and the environment. She resides, like Ron and I, right here in Southern California with her husband, beautiful teenage daughter, and rescue dog, Mina.
Kelly, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Ron and Lisa. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Thank you for all the wonderful work that each of you do every day to just let people know how to live a healthier life. I am really so honored to be here on the show with you both today.
Oh, we are so honored to have you. Kindred spirits indeed, working hard to make this world a healthier place for all. And I know our listeners are so excited to hear from you. So let's just dive right in. Now, Ron and I, we go way back, Kelly, with you. And Ron and I loved emceeing, not too far. We're not that old, right? But Ron and I loved emceeing your 50th anniversary celebrations back in 2017. So can you share with our audience a little bit about Ecos, the history and your mission?
Oh, that was such a wonderful day having you both there at our facilities here in Cypress, California to celebrate our 50th anniversary. Something I'm really proud of is that we've been producing environmentally friendly cleaners for 53 years now. So
Wow.
long before people had a deep understanding of the importance of greening your cleaning, it was our mission and our commitment. The company was founded by my father in 1967. So he originally was from the island of Crete in Greece. And he came to this country. There's actually a really fun Hollywood film about it called A Green Story. And I was
Yes.
thrilled that Shannon Elizabeth played me in the film. I got to look really good on screen.
Oh, nice.
That was a good
But,
choice.
yes. But he came to this country and, worked for others, realized early on the dangers in traditional cleaning products, was reading things like Rachel Carson's Silent Spring and other things. And that really motivated him to think about growing up in Greece, how his mother utilized natural ingredients like lemon, like vinegar to do these jobs. And so, he has such an amazing story because when he came here, he had $20 in his pocket, didn't speak English, lived on the streets, and he had
Wow.
started our company in his garage in 1967 after studying chemistry at Roosevelt because of the Greek root words. And went on to become a chemist and start our company. And, the mission was always to protect people and the planet, to constantly green the process. I joined the family business full time 17 years ago in 2003, although I certainly grew up in the business. And when I joined, we were still a very small company at the time, servicing some of the natural co-ops and some of the independent retailers. And, it's been really exciting to see that the consumer's awareness and understanding of the importance of cleaning products and their own journey for health and wellness has really got more retailers excited about carrying green brands. And we currently make 200 Ecos products as part of our
Wow.
portfolio. So to cover all aspects of greening your cleaning, as you pointed out, Lisa, we're manufacturing in sustainable manufacturing facilities. I have 4 manufacturing facilities here in the United States, one in California, Washington, Illinois, and New Jersey. Also a 5th site in Europe, in Greece. After my father passed away 7 years ago, we fulfilled that dream of his to also manufacture in his homeland. So really working to create the greenest products in the most sustainable fashion.
Wow. Your dad, I know you guys had a very close relationship, and everybody, when we emceed and have visited your plants, I mean, you never hear a bad word about him. People just love him so much. And what a
And his daughter too.
pioneer.
His daughter as well.
And his daughter.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. You
Thank
filled
you.
those shoes well. You filled
Thank
those
you.
those sustainable shoes.
Thank you.
But I want to pivot a little, and congratulations, by the way, on becoming a climate positive company. Kudos to you guys. So let's dive in. And if you could let our listeners know, what does that mean? What does climate positive mean?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. We're really excited to share that with our consumers here in 2021. And, for a long time, we've been talking about sustainability and the importance of sustainability. But now we're kind of moving the conversation a little bit to regeneration. So, really, giving back more than we take. And so we look at being climate positive in 3 arenas. Most companies define it by looking at carbon, and carbon is very important. As you know, we had achieved carbon neutrality and water neutrality and zero waste. But now we want to be 110%. So
Wow.
Overachiever Kelly. Great job.
High achiever.
we want to raise that bar. That A is not enough because now we really have come to the tipping point where we have to regenerate what we've all taken from this beautiful planet of ours. So when we look at energy, we first look at everything we can do to reduce, right? And then we look at how we can use solar and other things to replenish. And then in the very end, we offset by funding wind farms, or, when we look at water, we'll offset by funding the restoration of wetlands. But first, it's all about reduction and then implementing all sorts of, ways in which we can give back.
Wow. I love it.
That's really good. So Kelly, during the days of coronavirus that we're experiencing now, people are spending so much time at home. Why are safer cleaning products so important at this time?
Oh, Ron, I mean, I'm so glad you started the program really talking about, the pendulum not swinging too far, right? Because we all want to protect ourselves from the virus, but we don't want to create long-term negative health effects for ourselves, for our families, for our pets, for our planet. And so certainly this 2020 is a year I'll never forget. When COVID hit, I can remember on March 13th, as the world shut down, I mean, we had to really rev up because cleaning products still remain the number one weapon in the war on COVID. And so I was really happy early on that when the CDC published their guidelines, they said it was a two-pronged approach. Step one is to clean. Step two is to disinfect.
Right.
And I think a lot of people miss step one.
I think you're right. We're lucky to have you, Kelly.
Yeah. Yep.
And cleaning means the removal of these pathogens, these viruses, the bacteria. And when you remove these things in your cleaning, you want to use safer cleaning products. You really do, because Lisa, as you pointed out, so many of the traditional cleaning products have so many carcinogenic ingredients. It's unbelievable. As we sit here on this program today in 2021, these things are not regulated. So when you think about food and the FDA and those things, they don't touch cleaning products. There's nobody policing the ingredients that go in cleaning products. Yet we clearly understand that cleaning products affect human health.
Right.
So people used to think about what they put in them and on them, right? So what is the food they're eating? What's the personal care? But people now realize it's also what's around us. What are we breathing in?
Right.
What's the residue left on our clothes? What's the residue left on our dishes? And those are the things that complete that kind of holistic approach to our wellness journey. And you guys have devoted so much time to creating a healthy home, which I love because we spend so much time in our homes.
90%. Well, it was 90% of our time. Americans spent 90% of our time indoors. And obviously it's even more now with COVID and everybody's working from home. And so, making your home healthy could not be more important today than ever, because we aren't getting out as much, even just to go grab that cup of coffee or go grab some lunch. Everything's being done at home now. Well, here in California, because we don't have our restaurants open.
Absolutely, Lisa, right? Home is now our favorite coffee shop. Home is now our best restaurant. It's now our entertainment center.
You better like your coworkers too, I'll tell you that. You better
yes. Because these coworkers stay with you 24/7.
They sleep there.
You don't get to clock out from them. And so the thing is, COVID we know affects, our pulmonary health. How do we keep our lungs strong? How do we keep our immune system strong? How do we do the things, food is an important part of that, right? Diet, the supplements, vitamin D, vitamin A, very important part of that. And our cleaning products are an important part of that wellness regimen. So we want to make sure that when you're washing your clothes, you're not washing your clothes that have ingredients like formaldehyde as a preservative that's linked to cancer, or they have optical brighteners. I mean, when I think about optical brighteners, they create a coating on your fabrics, right? They have these fluorescents in them. And so now your clothes aren't actually cleaner. They just look brighter.
Right.
And you're absorbing that through your skin.
Yeah.
Or your dishes, you're washing your plates and glasses. And here, the back of the ingredient says, do not ingest with skulls and crossbones. Yet every day, people put their water in it and they drink out of it and they ingest it. And the cumulative effect over a lifetime is all of these illnesses: cancer, asthma, nerve and organ damage. I mean, it's just unbelievable. When the EPA was created in 1970, they grandfathered in 83,000 chemicals that were never checked for human health. And as we sit here more than 50 years later, the TSCA reform says, hey, let's check 10 chemicals a year.
Right.
I mean, 10 a year?
I know.
And when they first released the first 10, they said, okay, first 10, asbestos. Like, who doesn't know asbestos is it's not good for us?
Right, exactly.
It's really, cleaning products are important. And I would just say to your audience, read the labels. Just like you read food labels, read the ingredients.
Read the labels. And a skull and crossbones should be a red flag, or the words danger, right? What is it? Caution, warning of danger.
Or the lack of ingredients being listed. I would say to people, there's no requirement for disclosure in most states. So fortunately, in 2020, California became the first state to require disclosure of ingredients in cleaning products. but they only required it online.
Yeah.
And now this year, they're going to start requiring it on pack. So fortunately, people will actually, who live in California, have access to the information. And it's our great hope that that'll move the needle across the nation, because hopefully companies won't make certain products for California and not the rest of the nation.
Like we see a lot in like European products will be a lot of the times very different than the US products, which brings me to the next question, greenwashing. And everyone listening, I know our listeners have been greenwashed in the past, and that makes purchasing products with third-party independent certifications key. So Kelly, what certifications should consumers look for to identify that a green product walks the talk?
Absolutely. Also great point. So without a regulatory body sort of policing cleaning, there's a need to have, third-party auditors who are setting standards. So we've chosen to participate with the United States Environmental Protection Agency's Safer Choice program. So if your consumers and your audience was in the store, they would look for the EPA's logo, and it's a little family, a family of two, and a little house on the front, and they can clearly see that on pack. And what I love about the EPA's program is they're looking at three things. Number one, they're looking at the safety profile. So do you use the greenest ingredients available? Number two, they're looking at efficacy. And I love that, because a product that doesn't work is also not a sustainable product. And I think that for a long time, people believe that green products were inferior in terms of efficacy. And that's certainly not the case anymore. Green science is fantastic and does just as good of a job as its toxic counterparts. So they also certify the products are efficacious. And then they're also making sure that companies are innovating and breaking barriers in green science. And it's important to kind of stimulate our economy with lots of innovative thought leaders who are coming to the table with more natural ways to address some of the problems we face. So we've partnered with them since 2006. So we've been partnering with them for 14 years. It used to be called Design for the Environment. And then about 5 years ago in 2015, they rebranded as Safer Choice. And honestly, I'm so glad they did that, Ron and Lisa, because unfortunately, people often think that the environment is not connected to the human health. So when something is designed for the environment, it doesn't resonate with them the same way as telling people it's a safer choice for your health and your family. And so I'm really glad that that's what the logo features now.
Yeah. And for listeners who aren't familiar with ECOS, which I'd be shocked if our listeners did not know ECOS, but you guys use a lot of essential oils. So it's not just that you're cleaning and that the products really work, because we can attest to pretty much everything. I think we use your whole line. Most
199.
of it. Not the ice melt, if you still have that one. We're in California.
Yes, it's not a big seller in California.
Right. But when you clean with ECOS, your house smells incredible. You have the lemon, you have the parsley, you have all lavender, and you have all these beautiful smells. So it's not just, it's a sensory experience when you clean. So your house looks good, but it smells good and you're happy to be there. And I just wanted to point that out. It's not like traditional cleaning products where you're going to be keeling over because you can't breathe. Like we're talking about those caustic chemicals.
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that, Lisa. We really believe in aromatherapy at the kitchen sink, right? There's all these additional benefits to essential oils. And, one of the beauties about being a primary manufacturer, meaning we make everything ourselves. We're still family owned and operated, obviously woman owned and operated, but controlling the manufacturing process means we get to control all of the inputs. So when you smell the lavender in our cleaning products, I've actually gone to the lavender fields and I've met with the farmers that grow our lavender. And I know those families, and I've ridden the combine for the first cut of the season and followed the lavender from the fields through the steam distillation, and so having that transparency in the supply chain, or our primary surfactant is coconut, right? And so I've gone to the coconut fields and, watched the harvest and all of these things. And, these ingredients are renewable, they're replenishable. There's no reason to use petroleum derived surfactants and all of these things when these natural ingredients do a wonderful job as well. And the essential oils and the natural fragrances are a key component of our commitment as well, because as you pointed out, there are so many different, very dangerous chemicals in synthetic fragrances. And it's
yeah.
important to be aware of that. People, if you see fragrances that have names that don't exist in nature, like Christmas, whatever.
Wintergreen pine scent.
Think about it.
Right. I know we all know this, but for anyone who's not aware, when you see that word fragrance or parfum, that's hiding potentially hundreds of ingredients behind that. So you
Absolutely.
don't know. And like Kelly said, even now, even though you can go online, are you really going to do that all the time? Are you going to go on your computer and look up all the things behind fragrance?
Right.
Probably
Which
not.
Which is why I would say to people, when you're in the stores and you're reading the labels, support brands that are disclosing ingredients. So if you turn over a cleaning product and there's no ingredients listed, or even a short disclaimer that says, see our website for full details,
Right.
I would say those are brands that you really don't want to bring into your home. You want to bring brands that are proud of what's in their product, that are prominently displaying it on their label, that want you to be able in the store to pick up the product, read the ingredients, and feel good about what you bring into your home. And it's really about empowering the consumer, bringing them, if we're not going to regulate these dangerous ingredients, let's at least give consumers a choice and the knowledge to be able to look at it. Even with a natural brand, right? Maybe someone's allergic to lavender, right? I want them to clearly be able to look at the label and say, uh-oh, this has lavender. Right. I'm going to get this product, right? I mean, it's important. And we know that allergies are on the rise. We know that people are struggling with skin sensitivities. 30 to 40% of the population reports it. And cleaning products are oftentimes the culprit. People are looking at foods and other things, but don't forget cleaning products.
Especially laundry, right? Because that's your skin's your largest organ. You're sleeping on your sheets every night, your pillow. You could be getting breakouts on your skin. And we've had a lot of readers that had this issue. Oh, I'm breaking out. And like you said, they think it's a dairy allergy or whatever. Oh, did you look at your laundry detergent? What? My laundry detergent, I didn't even think about that. So yeah.
It is interesting. So reading labels, they can be complicated. Are there just 5 ingredients you can give us that people should absolutely avoid? So let's say there's no certification, but they want to know what ingredients, these are no-nos that you should never,
the dirty list.
The dirty list, the dirty 5, we'll call it. Kelly's dirty 5.
And I will come up with the dirty 5, but I would tell you, we have a list of 500 nasty.
Okay, Kelly, you're showing off.
Really? Do you on the website?
So if you go to ecos.com, you can read our 500 nasties. And that's our commitment that these 500 ingredients are never in our products. And I would really encourage people to go to Ecos and see those 500 nasties. But just kind of top of mind, right? There's some ingredients that I think are really well known, right? So parabens, for instance, a lot of people are talking about parabens, the definitive link to cancer. And we hear that conversation, which I'm thrilled about, because parabens are oftentimes found in hand soaps and other products. And we certainly would never use a paraben as a preservative because it's an endocrine disruptor. It mimics estrogen, and it's a very problematic ingredient. But then there's a lot of things people aren't talking about. One of those key things is 1,4-dioxane. 1,4-dioxane is a known carcinogenic substance. When I mentioned before that Tosca came out with 10 things, that would be the first 10 things they would look at, and asbestos was number 1. 1,4-dioxane was number 2.
Wow.
So that's how important it is in terms of being a known carcinogenic substance, yet it's in almost all cleaning products. And this is a little difficult for your audience, because 1,4-dioxane isn't listed as an ingredient on the label. Instead, it's a byproduct of the manufacturing process. And 1,4-dioxane is often generated from different sources, from PEGs and from ethoxylated surfactants. Ethoxylated surfactants are surfactants that end with ETH, right? So like
laureth,
right?
Sodium laureth sulfates.
Exactly. Right? So when you see the ETH at the end, sodium laureth sulfate, then you want to avoid those things. Optical brighteners that I mentioned earlier, right? You want to avoid anything that's got that iridescence or the fluorescence in it. It's extremely toxic to human health, and it's not even cleaning your clothes. You want to chlorine bleach, you mentioned, right? I mean, chlorine bleach is very important to avoid. When you mix bleach, when you have ammonia and these things, you see people are having fatalities. Number 1 cause of household poisonings, children getting into cupboards and swallowing these things. Extremely, extremely dangerous.
And you guys have a wonderful product. Is it OXO or OxoBrite?
Our OxoBright, yes, our
OxoBright.
non-chlorine bleach, which whitens things just as good.
So good. I
Thank you.
literally use it. I make a paste with just soap and make a paste and use it as like to clean. We have a white kitchen sink, so I use it to clean the sink. And even if you have that mildew around the tub, you can use
Yep.
that on there. It's really
Yep.
great. Yeah. So
Thank you. I'm so glad you make a paste with it. That's such a great tip for people.
right, because we always say baking soda, but let's be honest, it doesn't always do the job.
Yep.
Like
But
if you have
OxoBright does a wonderful job, and a non-chlorine bleach works so well. And it's also
Yeah.
color safe, so it won't destroy fabrics. And
Yeah.
the fifth thing I would say, a really simple one, which is so unnecessary, are dyes, synthetic dyes.
Right.
Why in the world does a cleaning product need to be blue or purple or some other color?
No
I
one
mean,
sees it. It's not like it's sitting on your counter. It's under the sink.
it's under
What are you
the
trying
sink.
to
Like,
impress?
is it so important? But yet it's the psychology, right? People
Yeah.
see that bright blue color and they think, oh, efficacy and strength. And I really want people to start seeing those dyes and think, uh-oh, cancer and all of these other issues that are linked to these things. So that serve absolutely no purpose. And so if you see our Ecos branded products, they're all clear, right? Because we're not adding dyes. It's just unnecessary. It adds to the carbon footprint of a product. It adds to its toxicity. And, you know, people shouldn't be fooled by these gimmicks.
Yeah. And you mentioned PEGs, which for their listeners, that's polyethylene glycols, and which is very much in the news right now because it is in some of the vaccines that are coming out for COVID. And there's been a lot of reports on people having allergies to those. It's a really highly allergic substance. So that's, I didn't know if, you know, for you guys who were like, what's a PEG? Not a wooden peg. A polyethylene glycol.
Yes. No, I'm glad you clarified what the term means. You know, it's so many of these terms are so difficult. And that's why reading labels, I think, become challenging for the audience.
Yeah.
So
They're like, I don't know. I guess it's okay. I don't know what any of this stuff is. You know, that's
yes, and that's
yeah.
why support brands that are really translating the science for you, right? If you look at the back of our label, right, we'll say, let's say we use as our surfactant sodium cocoa sulfate, right? That comes from a coconut, right? So you have the hard outer shell of the coconut, which protects it. It's a very clean fruit inside. We utilize the inside of it, the copra, and then we distill the oils from the copra to use for our surfactant. But if you look at our label, it'll say sodium cocoa sulfate, and then in parentheses, it'll say, you know, coconut derived surfactant, right? So we're on our labels, even translating things so people understand what's the source, what does it do? What's the source? What does it do? They don't need a degree in chemistry to decipher when they look at our cleaning products. We tell them the ingredient, we tell them the source and what the function is.
Right. Nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide. I believe in full transparency. And, you know, I mean, you guys obviously have walked our manufacturing facilities. You've been to our California
Beautiful. You
facility.
can eat off the floors there.
Yeah, you could eat off
your
the floor.
Your place is so clean and everyone's so happy there.
Yeah. The first time we toured it, we go, gosh, you could eat off the floors. They're so clean.
Thank you. You know, but you see, like, if you go into our conference room, you have windows looking at the manufacturing floors. Like, we believe in transparency in everything we do. We want people to see, how do we do it? How do we make it? And we want to gain the trust of our consumers. And we always want to deliver on our Ecos promise.
We saw you talk about how cleaning products are the #1 weapon in the fight against COVID. Tell us a little bit about Ecos during the pandemic.
Absolutely. You know, I can only describe my team as exhibiting the highest levels of patriotism. I mean, you know, Lisa, it almost brings tears to my eyes when I think about, you know, the very beginning of the pandemic, before we had a deep understanding, you know, of things. In those initial days when the world shut down, we had to really step it up. Hospitals needed cleaning products, homes needed cleaning products, all of our grocery partners. And so we couldn't close for a day. And I'm just so proud of the work that my team did, how we all came together. The company culture that was in place really, really showed in those moments. March 13th, any team member that was considered non-essential, and I don't even like the word is non-essential because every team member is essential, but anyone that could work remotely went remote. So if you worked in sales, marketing, innovation, accounts payable, accounts receivable, you know, finance, sustainability, all of those teams moved to a remote workspace. And then myself, my COO, and my chief engineer, we stayed on site with all of our manufacturing teams in all 4 facilities. And and we serviced our nation. And I'm just so proud of the work that my team did during those days and continues to do. And it was just about, making sure that people had access. Everyone has access to cleaning products.
Things were flying off the shelves. I mean, remember?
It was. I mean, as a leader, like the March, if it hadn't been for a global pandemic, I would have been celebrating the orders coming in, right? Like,
Right.
wow.
Yeah, right.
A lot of our larger retail partners like Costco and Sam's and Walmart and Target and Whole Foods. And I mean, the orders were really coming in. And we were happy to have the opportunity to fill those. But number one was to keep my team safe. And I'm just really proud of the fact that, we kept everyone safe and that everyone's doing really well.
That's great.
And I also, just wanted to make sure that, our retail partners stayed obviously in stock and full, and that people had the products in their homes. And I wanted to continue the education as you guys are doing today around, the need for safer products. We did a lot of things. We launched things in our COVID response. So, like our one-step ECOS disinfectant, we added to our portfolio. So when I talked before about the CDC, first and foremost saying to clean, step 2 is to disinfect. And so there are safer ways to disinfect. We're using hydrogen peroxide in our disinfectant, does a wonderful job. And disinfectant should be used, for heavily trafficked areas, right? So if a lot of people are touching something, those types of arenas. And so we launched products like our disinfectant as part of our COVID response.
During the pandemic. Wow, that's incredible.
Actually, ironically, Lisa, we showed our ECOS disinfectant at the International Sanitary Supply Show in October of 2019. And
you're psychic.
So we had just added it to our portfolio.
Wow.
Understanding that, hospitals and some of the institutions needed a greener disinfectant. Some of the institutions, and a disinfectant shouldn't be used, every day.
Right.
It's something that, you have a blood spill, you have a COVID case, you have something like that, and then you want to have a disinfectant. We always wanted to make sure that all of our collaborators had an entirely green portfolio, because I don't believe that you have you have these healthy brands and then a really toxic disinfectant. And so that's why we wanted to really bring that to the forefront.
I love that. Yeah.
Well, you and the team are such unsung heroes. You absolutely are.
That's
during
really
that time period to do that and be there when everyone was, hiding away, you were in the middle of
working like and supporting your community with employment too, which is really great, because we know so many people.
I'm really, we've expanded our workforce by almost 20% in 2020. So started hiring people and creating jobs. I mean, our goal has always been to create green jobs in the local communities. And we were happy to be able to bring on new team members to really work with us on our mission, because, this year, our mission of protecting people and the planet, really, was so important, more important than it's been in my years of leadership.
So Kelly, we indirectly heard that your 16-year-old daughter unfortunately tested positive for COVID-19, but thankfully she's fully recovered. But you and your husband, you stayed negative during that whole experience, despite the fact that you all live together under the same roof. Now, I know there's many people listening that have this experience, are going through something similar. Can you share how you protected your family while someone in your home was tested positive for COVID? And how did you realize right off the bat that you should take your daughter in to be tested?
Thank you, Ron. It's a great question, and something that I definitely like to discuss with your audience, because I think so many people are worried about how to protect themselves. And I really replaced the worrying with immediate planning. And I started implementing all of the things that we have in our ECOS facilities. So my daughter immediately quarantined in her room. And then, the rest of us in the house wore masks, stayed distance. And over those 10 days until she tested negative, we were very vigilant. But I can attest to the fact that we only utilized our ECOS products. I did not bring any, toxic cleaners into our home to combat the virus. Our ECOS disinfectant, our ECOS cleaners were all that we utilized. We focused on a healthy diet, taking our supplements, increasing our vitamin D, our vitamin C, our vitamin A, and just really staying vigilant and mindful and considerate of one another. And in terms of determining that she might have COVID, she had a very slight runny nose, not even something significant that I would have mentioned during any other time frame, but really just being attuned to her health. I saw it, and I immediately just wanted her to get tested because of the slight runny nose, and was certainly shocked and saddened when the result came back, as we had been so vigilant about our activities. And we certainly wondered, had it happened at a well visit to the pediatrician or a visit to a grocery store? Not really sure. But in the end of the day, the most important thing was to act and to make sure that she stayed healthy, and that she recovered. And I'm so grateful that she did. She was fortunate, being a younger person, that, she did lose her taste and smell, but after 4 days recovered it. But the rest of us were able to stay healthy and COVID free by just making sure that we cleaned as the CDC recommends. Step 1, clean. Step 2, disinfect, and really focused on our immune systems during that time.
Well, Kelly, you're not only a great CEO, you are a great mother. Well done.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Did her symptoms stay pretty much mild besides this loss of taste and that? Did they stay?
Yeah. Very fortunate. Obviously, she's
Okay.
16, so I know she had probably an easier road than so many others, but the mild runny nose, 3 days later, the loss of taste and smell, which was frightening for her, that loss of that sensory experience.
Right.
I had to laugh because at one point she said, "Well, Mom, now I can eat every healthy food you want me to eat because it doesn't even matter."
Exactly. Bring on the broccoli and the asparagus.
Bring it on, Mom. All those things that you want me to eat, I can eat it all. All irrelevant.
That's
Tastes
hilarious.
like anything. But she did regain her taste and smell after 4 days. She experienced what she described as an intense burning in her nose before her taste and smell resumed. And we obviously I had everybody increase their vitamin D intake, their vitamin A, their vitamin C.
Great. Boost that immunity. Like you talked about, that is such an important part. And I loved how you said earlier, like our immune system is not just food and exercise. It's everything around you and everything that you bring into your home and put on your skin and all of that.
Yes.
So Kelly, I saw your Instagram story at your account, Kelly from Ecos, that asked people to take a healthy cleaning New Year's resolution, which I think is so great. Music to our ears. So what are some of the steps that listeners can take right now to add to their wellness journey?
Thanks, Lisa. Well, I think a lot of people take all sorts of resolutions around weight loss and diet and exercise. And so I just wanted to bring to the forefront of the discussion healthy cleaning and get people to take that resolution as well. So at Ecos, we've kicked off our 6-week Detox Your Home campaign. So if people go to my platform is at Kelly from Ecos, the company platform where we'll have the Detox Your Home campaign is at Ecos Cleans. And over the next 6 weeks, we're going to give people a lot of tips about detoxing their home, things that they should be doing, and really asking them to look at their everyday routines, how they wash their dishes, how they wash their clothes, how they wash the surfaces in their homes, providing information, tips, advice on how to read labels, advice on what to look for, and really try and over the next 6 weeks, take them with us on a Detox Your Home wellness journey. We're going to do lots of fun giveaways and prizes too. Nice. So for your audience, I hope that they'll go to Ecos Clean and sign up. Okay. That starts on the 13th of January and runs through the 13th of February, where we'll be giving out, these Detox Your Home kits to get people started off on the right foot as well.
I love that. And that's Ecos Cleans with an S or Eco
That's
Clean?
Right.
Ecos Cleans. And I'll put that in the show notes, guys. So if you don't want to write that down, don't worry. It'll be in the show notes.
Well, I have to say, move over, Oprah. Hello, Kelly. Entrepreneur Magazine named you one of their 100 powerful women of 2020 in October, which is beyond impressive. Can you tell us a little bit about being one of the only women to run an international cleaning products company and how your focus on diversity in the workplace has benefited Ecos, which is your company?
Wow. Well, it was really an honor to be named by Entrepreneur as one of the top 100 women this last year. And, I'm a huge proponent of more women in leadership roles, more diversity. We know that diverse companies perform better financially. Diverse companies better serve their customers' needs. And so we're a consumer products company, and our customer base, half of our population is comprised of women. And so I'm really proud of the fact that 52% of my executive team is comprised of women as well, because we internally want to reflect the external population that we are here to serve. Additionally, we've got a lot of women in science. 75% of our chemists are also women. And I know in STEM for a long time, we're talking about trying to level those playing fields and have more women there. My vice president of innovation, my VP of sustainability, there's a lot of wonderful women leaders throughout all the ranks of our company. And this is something that is very important to me, is very near and dear to my heart. It's funny, I was at a trade show 2 years ago in Greece, and there was a reporter who said, I read this press release that 50% of your company is comprised of women. Are you trying to get rid of men?
Oh,
and I said, absolutely not. I just want to build a company that reflects our population. And I want to make sure that there's...
You can't win.
I know. I want to make sure that everyone's voice is at the table. We're stronger when we stand together.
Yeah.
And so we have so many talented men and women in our company.
Yeah.
And
we've met so many of them, and you're right. They're all there. It's not just, but also women, tend to be the shoppers and tend to make these decisions, right? For the home, the cleaning products. And so I think
Lisa, it's so interesting because when I joined full-time 17 years ago, it was kind of a 90-10 split, that 90% of our consumers were women and 10% were men. Oh. And interestingly enough, over, the last 17 years, it's now a 60-40 split. So 60% of our consumers are women and 40% are men.
Wow.
So you can see, as the generations are changing and the roles are changing, that a lot of our shoppers are now men as well.
I love it.
Great.
Men talk about those essential oils in the grocery store aisle compared.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like, what is it that motivates the purchasing behavior? And, as a company, we're trying to address all of those things, but affordability is also one of the things that's important to us.
Well, that's where the man comes in. He's very stingy.
That's where the man comes in.
But, it's having a product at an affordable price point. So when you shop our brand in the stores, you don't pay a premium because it's a green offering. We believe that everyone has the right to a healthy home, and we want to create products at affordable price points. And so when you're a primary manufacturer, I can make them, I can sell them directly to my retail partners, no third-party middlemans, no arbitrary markups. And I just want to make sure to get them into people's hands. And so when you go into, the stores that we're at, you'll oftentimes see that we're opening price point, and we're opening price point, even competing against toxic conventional brands. Yeah. And that's because we're really looking to create a different model out there.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, because they are very affordable, very, and consumers do want to use their dollars to vote for brands that reflect their values. And you guys obviously do that in so many ways that we've talked about. Can you share with our listeners your high road employment practices? And because we are so impressed with the incentives that you guys offer your employees. And I know some of them, I'll let you elaborate, but purchasing low emission vehicles or solar panels, you guys actually incentivize your employees for doing things like that, which is incredible.
We want our team members to live our mission in their lives and to truly serve as ecos ambassadors, whether they're in the workplace or they're at their kids' school event or they're out in their communities. And so anything that we can do to really help support them having a greener lifestyle is important to us. And so you're right. So if they live within 10 miles of our facility, they get a relocation bonus because they're reducing their carbon emissions by commuting. If they put solar panels on their rooftop, they get, several $1,000s, because oftentimes the barrier to entry is that initial deposit.
Yeah.
If they get a green vehicle, If they get a green vehicle, they get $2,000 so that we can make sure to put down the deposit that they might need to get into that more fuel efficient vehicle or electric vehicle, or, we just want to make sure to do everything that we can to really take our entire team on this journey. We brought in, chefs so that when we're on site, healthy foods are being prepared. Lots of introductions to more plant-based offerings, sharing plant-based recipes and other things so that we inspire people to go back home and to create those things. A lot of health and wellness education. And then, Ron, as you mentioned earlier, deciding to pay a fair living wage of $17 an hour back in 2014.
Yeah.
So impressive, by the way. First class.
Thank you. We believe wholeheartedly that, a fair living wage is important. And a lot of companies, who are fighting higher wages are saying, oh, what it's going to do to the bottom line. But I would encourage those companies to look at the cost of not taking care of your team members. You've got higher rates of turnover. You've got lower productivity. You've got less of a commitment to quality. I mean, there's all sorts of things, transactional costs that hit the bottom lines for companies that are really focused on short-term capitalism. But, that's the beauty about being family owned and operated. I mean, I'm in it for the long run. And so when I make decisions, I'm making decisions for the future and for generations in the future. And, a lot of our competitors and our green competitors have been bought by, larger conglomerates that are driven by short-term capitalism. And so I'm proud of the fact that as we stand here today, we're really the only nationally distributed green brand that's still a smaller woman-owned, privately held family brand.
Yeah, it's amazing, Kelly. You're such an inspiration. Every time I hear you talk, I'm just so inspired, and you're just forging and being the example for raising the green bar for so many to rise up to. I just think it's incredible. When we've toured your facilities, because we've toured a couple, the employees that we meet, they've been there for such a long time. And there is that family dynamic. And I'm not just saying that, like Ron and I have felt that every time we've been there, and people are smiling and they're happy. And, you can feel that family dynamic.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, when we were there, you were celebrating someone's either 40th or 45th anniversary, something extraordinary. Was it? I don't remember. I think it was in the Chicago facility or Illinois.
You're right.
Huge testament. That's incredible. And your turnover rate is so low. I forgot the percentage, but I mean, it's astronomically low for your industry.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you in 2014, when we went to $17 an hour, we went from 3% voluntary turnover to 1.5%. And, the manufacturing industry averages about 53% turnover. So when you think about it, I mean, it's, there's so many hiring, recruiting, retraining costs. I just don't know what people are thinking. Take care of your team and they'll take care of you. I mean, everything in life is about reciprocity and working together and meeting one another's needs. And I think that business leaders should really champion fair practices across the board.
Yeah, it'll pay off. It'll pay off in so many other ways. Yeah.
Now, Kelly, earlier in the show, you had mentioned some new products that Ecos has. Can you elaborate on some newer brands or new products that you have for 2021 or maybe into 2020 that just came out?
Sure. So I did a lot of great new things, so we listen to our consumers, we're looking at what's going on in the world. And one of the things that we wanted to address was the plastic crisis. And so we addressed it through several different ways. One of the ways that we did it was with our Ecos Next.
Our producer just gave a thumbs up. This is a topic that's very passionate to our producer, plastic waste. So he just gave a thumbs up.
It's funny. I'm looking behind me to see where is my box of Ecos Next. But anyways, I know there's not a video component. So we launched our Ecos Next liquidless laundry detergent. And basically what it is, detergent to date. So it works beautifully. It's lightweight, so easy to ship. A lot of people, especially during the pandemic, have moved to a lot of online purchasing. And so our Ecos liquidless laundry detergent was one of the great solutions for that. Wow. The other thing that we launched last year, and you can find that in every Whole Foods market in the nation. The other thing you can find in every Whole Foods market in the nation that we launched last year is our mother and child refill system. So it was actually the last project that I was working on with my father before he passed away in 2014. And so beautiful to see it hit the shelves this year. And basically it's a patented system where you have the mother, which is the larger refill format, and the child that locks into the mother, no shrink wrap or additional packaging. The child sits on your countertop, your sink, and is refilled by the mother that would sit under your sink. So whether it's a dish product or an all-purpose cleaner, we wanted to reduce the use of plastic by getting rid of having to have 5 trigger sprayers. Now it's a 5-in-1 product. So I would encourage people, to look at those 2 offerings in Whole Foods. It's really important that consumers support those initiatives because retailers will carry things that consumers purchase.
You guys have the power. Everybody listening, you have the power of the purchase. You vote with your dollar. You literally do by making those choices. Yeah. Now, is that mother, child, mother? I thought you said mother
and child.
You have a daughter. Is that which products have that?
So our entire offering comes in that format, but at Whole Foods right now, you would find our dish products.
Okay.
So our Ecos Grapefruit Dish Mate, and with the mom that can refill it. So it's 5 bottles of Dish Mate in 1 bottle. And you'd also find our all-purpose cleaner, which is in Parsley Plus and in our Orange Plus, our 2 signature scents. And that's also a 5-in-1. So really kind of 2 ways to address the plastic problem. We also introduced refill systems with many of our retailers. And then we launched our disinfectant. So, our one-step disinfectant with the hydrogen peroxide and also our disinfectant wipes so that we could give our consumers a greener offering through and through.
Now, does that disinfectant, is there, as far as the efficacy, does it kill X amount of germs or bacteria? Or
absolutely. So when you look on pack, it says right up front here, kills more than 99.9% of germs.
Nice. That's what you want.
Yep.
Skip the Lysol. Sorry.
Yep.
Don't want to throw out names, but
there's no need for it, right? I mean, and that's the beauty of green science, that, people really do need to understand that green science is just as effective. And at the same time, it'll preserve your health and the health of our planet for future generations. We cannot continue to operate as we've operated, in recent years. We must make these changes, and we want to make it easy on people. Our products are available at stores they shop in at affordable prices. So you don't need to really make any sacrifices. You're actually just going to improve the quality of your life.
Right. Now, I have a personal question because Ron and I have a high efficiency washer, which they basically all are now, but we were late to that game. We liked our old one. So we waited till the last, till that thing really fell apart.
So
it's our dirty little secret in the back.
But hey, listen, when you're repairing and fixing things, that's the very greatest thing to do.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kelly.
That machine, we got it repaired so many times and it just lasted forever. We actually loved it. Anyway, so we didn't know when we first got the high efficiency, we were putting way too much detergent in, and like, oh my God, the clothes are coming out with like soap stains and stuff. And so those little squares that you talked about, like what would you do in high efficiency? Is it 1 square per load?
That's exactly right. So it's literally 1 square goes into your load, and that would be for a full load. If you have a full load that you're running, you'd have 1 square. If you're running half a load, you would just tear it in half and you would throw half in there. If you were just for some reason washing a few garments, you might put it in quarters and throw that in there.
Okay, so you can tear it. It looks like a little
You absolutely can. And this year for the first time, I spent a lot of time doing road trips when I haven't flown since February 21st. So I drove a lot of places, and I drove up to our Washington facility this summer, and I took my little squares with me and I washed things in the sink, right? Because all of our products are safe for your hands to touch. And so I took my little squares and I washed things in the sink, and it also worked so great for travel.
Nice. That's a great tip. Are you guys going to come out, do you think, ever with I don't think you have this, like a Swiffer type product for sweeping and mopping? Do you think you'll?
So although we don't make the actual appliance or tool to do the job, we absolutely make a wonderful array of floor cleaners. So you can see our Ecos plant powered floor cleaner right here.
Nice.
And so we have that. We also have the furniture polish line that actually uses
love that
olive oil.
product. Yeah, we love it. We use that. That's the best. You guys don't be using those toxic furniture polishes. Oh, you don't have to. These work amazing.
So important. There was a study done on our stainless steel cleaner. It went up against all the conventional brands at Harvard. We outperformed all the conventional brands without any of the toxic residue left behind.
Oh, that's
And those are things that,
Wow.
Congratulations. Yes. And now so
Thank
many
you.
people have stainless steel, everything's gone
Yes.
stainless. Oh my gosh. You guys are always so cutting edge, so one step, more than one, 10 steps ahead. Guys, if you're still using toxic cleaning products, then it's time to offer your condolences to these bad boys that are up to dirty tricks inside your home, posing as do-gooders while spreading nasty chemicals into the air you breathe, like we talked about on the show, on your floors, walls, surfaces. It's criminal. Instead, look for Ecos cleaners next time you go shopping, and you can learn more at ecos.com. And I will put links to this in the show notes, as well as to the detox challenge for the new year. And Kelly, is there anything you want to leave the listeners with? You've already given so much.
I want to say thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you, Ron, for all the work that you do to bring knowledge, education, and awareness to so many of these important issues, and really empowering people to live their best and their healthiest lives. And so I just really thank you for serving as just a wonderful conduit of this important information. And I would just say to all of your listeners, please just make sure that when you're thinking about your cleaning products and the products you bring into your home, make sure you have a deep understanding of those products, and you make choices that protect your health and the health of your family, and extend your thoughts for health and wellness from food and personal care to cleaning as well.
I love
well
it. And well said. We can attest. We are Ecos consumers. Kelly did not pay us to say this. This is not a commercial. We use the products. And yes, what Kelly said earlier, the old paradigm of you have to sacrifice performance. No, that doesn't exist anymore. It did at one time, but with green chemistry, like you said, and modern technologies, I mean, you're going to get just as good, if not better, I think better of a clean, and you're going to feel better, and you're going to protect your family. So,
well, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Ecos. Stay tuned next week, friends, to find out what the heck is going on in your home. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.